What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the Intellivision Show, episode 18. I'm your host, the Intellivision Gamer. Thanks for joining us today as we chat with several of the Inti Basic contest programmers. Should be a really good show. We have a few other special guests on as well. They're going to talk about the games, the contest, the future plans. I've got a YouTuber highlight on Phil of Retro Bliss Gaming. That's going to be very cool. A mail call segment. I actually have mail call stuff for you today, and one of them has to do with the contest. Michael Hayes will not be able to answer when I ask you guys a question. Everyone else is free. Homebrew Highlight is going to be Inti Basic Showcase Volume 2. So we'll get into that in a little bit. Also, if you like Intellivision related content, please give the show a like and sub to the channel. It really does help us out. You can also find me on Facebook, Instagram, and now Discord. I'm just learning that, so give me a bit of time to get more content there, all under the same name, Intellivision Gamer. So now, before we get the show started, let's welcome everyone in chat. Something I've kind of been doing a little bit late here lately. So much stuff going on. Michael Doherty, welcome, sir. Here for the news. Cyrus, what is going on, buddy? Glad you can make it. Kurt Bradshaw, welcome. Eric Lamb, a new Intellivision collector. Michael Hayes, welcome, sir. Pierre. Brian's here as well. Rick. Man, this guy can play some games. I'm sure you guys have seen all the high scores. He is hard to beat. And every time you beat him, like 10 minutes later, he's got another high score and you're not winning anymore. Harvey, welcome, sir. EE Buckeye, welcome. Salvador. Code, welcome, sir. Boy, we got Stu. We got everyone in here today. Welcome, Stu. Slappy. Good to see you as always, Slappy. Cyrus says, Casey, you might be the Intellivision Gamer, but I am an Intellivision Gamer, so there. There's a lot of us. All right, guys. So for the news, we have a few things for you guys today. Brian of Brian's Man Cave recently on his website put up his ROMs for sale. So I don't want to talk too much about it. Let's go ahead and bring on the man himself to tell us what he's doing with the website and future plans. Here we go. Welcome, Brian of Brian's Man Cave.
Hey,
welcome,
how's
sir.
it going?
Pretty good. How are you?
Pretty good. It's just, I think I'm getting like seasonal allergies right now, so my voice might not be so
yeah.
good.
We have that going around everywhere here, on and off. Last week, I wasn't feeling good at all. My head, it was like, I don't really get allergies anymore, but my head was kind of foggy. I kept forgetting stuff. You know, I was sleep deprived a little bit because of like the allergy type, you know, symptoms. So
I woke up with the whole sore throat and stuffiness.
Yeah.
It's starting to get warm out, so we're now opening the windows more, and the crap is coming in. So
yeah, it's already hot here. And also we had a lot of wind, and the wind stirred up everything.
Yes.
So you have a new thing going on your website. You have listed your ROMs for sale. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so this was something in the making for a while. I know people have been asking for the last several years almost, when can they buy my ROMs? And for a while, I had 2 games up on Intellivision Collector's website. At that time, they were hosting other people's ROMs. So that was Keystone Cops, this one. And the other one was Fast Food. And so come the end of last year, Intellivision Collector made a decision that they're not going to be hosting ROMs that they don't essentially own the rights to them. So that was the end of that. And so I had to make a decision. Do I want to source out somebody else that can host my ROMs, or do I just sell them myself? And so I thought that might be the best route to go. So I created a store, an online store. I have my own website, which I've had for a while now. And so I thought, I'll put the stuff on my store Actually, yeah. If you go up to the top there as you're looking, you'll see the menu. I don't know. Yeah, Intellivision games. So in
There we
there,
go.
that's where you can actually learn which games I have up. Some of them are for free, like Miss Paku Paku. You can download that for free. And Perfect. You can download that for free as well. And the rest are will send you to my store, and you simply just you pay for the ROMs you want, and then I will email them off to you. I unfortunately I can't. I don't have a way to automate it. I wish I did, but right now the way it works is that you pay for it, and then as soon as I see it and I'm available to email it, which is not going to be a long time, and then I'll just email it off.
Yeah, I bought them.
And
I bought them all shortly after it opened, and it was fairly quick. And you're available. You're quick to respond when people have questions, and
yeah,
so it was not long at all. So
it goes to my main email, so that's the one I check all the time. So when I see a sale came in, if depending on what I'm doing, obviously, but I'm not going to get up in the middle of the night and do it. Or if
nor
I'm
would we
at work,
expect you, Brian.
or if I'm at work, I do work a 9 to 5. So, but yeah, so all the other games that I had, so aside from Fast Food and Keystone Cops, Rags to Riches is up there, which is a game that I played on the Commodore 64. It's a little bit of a tricky game, and I'm going to do a video on this one to kind of show you how to play it properly, because I know a lot of people are going to get into it and not know what to do. Traffic Jam is up there, which was one that I worked on. It's a puzzle game.
I like puzzle.
And the other one I have up there is Boing, which is an Atari 2600 game that I just decided to make. But the other thing that I want to do is I want to make the physical games available. So the first one that will probably show up will be this one, Napoleonic Wars. I'm going to start off, though, selling these as signed copies, and I'm going to see how that goes. Depending on the interest, if people want signed copies, I'll do that. And then eventually, if it wanes and people just want the game, then I'll just make the game available. And then I hope to move on to the rest of the games. I'm kind of working in a deal right now with Rev from Intellivision Revolution to possibly get a bunch of my games physical that I can start selling. So that's my next step.
Now, I know you've already sold one of those copied games. Well, it's lined up anyway.
Yeah. You're number one.
As soon as I heard you were doing that, I'm like, ooh, put me on the list.
So my plan is what I'm thinking of doing is I'm going to create a video or do a video, maybe a live video where I'm sitting there talking and chatting, whatever, and opening them, signing them, numbering them. Everyone will be numbered, so you'll know which number you get. And then from that point on, I'll just start to make them available for sale. Whether I do it through my website or do it through another means of just, send me an e-transfer or whatever, PayPal, and we'll work that out at the time. So I'm still working on the details, but that's my plan for that anyways.
All right. That sounds good. Anything else before we move on to the next segment? Because you are coming back on in a few minutes.
Yep. No, I think that's everything.
All right, sir. Well, we'll see you in a few minutes. Thank you for coming on and telling us about your ROM sales on the website. Appreciate that.
Right.
So many things down there. It's like it's the biggest show that I've ever put together with all these videos, different guests. Just trying to find it all down there below me. I'm not used to that. I'm used to having like a few things down there. So Discord. Now, this is something I have seen before. I've actually had one for 6 years, but I never did anything with it. I started seeing from watching Retro Bliss. He uses it all the time, quite regularly, and Intellivision Dude does as well. There's others. I've started to collect people on there. So I thought, you know what? That sounds like something that I would like to try. So I do have a Discord now. There's not a lot there. I have 2 servers or channels, whatever they're called. One for this show where everyone can come on and just chat and see what other people have chatted about. Another one is High Scores. I don't have a lot there right now, but a link to join is in the description already. I've actually got all the links already there. I am a little bit behind on that. So a new game some more news. Some of you have already seen it. I know it's been in the threads, but I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right. Gianna Sisters. It is a similar game to Super Mario Brothers, and I believe it was a game from the C64. And it is by George Winterstein. Hopefully I got that name right. Now, I did reach out to him, and he's unavailable, but he will be in the very near future coming on the show and telling us all about himself and the game. I look forward to having him on. It's a platformer, of course, just like Super Mario Brothers. And I have a link video to it on YouTube that you can check out if you haven't already seen it. Now, something else that's kind of new, and I want to start sharing it when it's happening, the baseball league. Now, I'm going to be honest, I don't know a lot about the baseball league. I know that teams get set up, and it's like a contest, and I believe I don't know if it's its own version. It's a world championship, it looks like to me. And in the description, I have a link to the Facebook post, and I also have a link to the YouTube channel because they have their own channel. And I'll do a quick update. We've got Intellivision Baseball League is at its halfway point. Arcade Action Network is a 3-team race. Up Monsters are undefeated 5-0, with the Bombers 1 game back and the Deadly Dogs 2 games back. The Space Battle Network has 4 teams still in the division race, and the Mutants on top at 4-1. The Spartans and Beam Riders both 1 game back, and the Armada 2 games back. The River Raiders and Smash are both winless at 0-5. The second half starts Monday. Now, they post these videos on the YouTube channel after they're done. Again, the link is there if you want to check it out. This has been going on for years. I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard about it. I try to bring up everything that happens in the Intellivision universe, and maybe you can get some new viewers and maybe some participants. So another one we have is the Thursday Night Golf League. That is DJC Game Studios Rumble channel, and I believe there's 5 of us that are playing. This was the second regular week. Papa Pete won the first one. I took it. This one, we played the classic course front 9. I shot a 42. Papa Pete a 49. DJC shot a 50, just 1 shot off of Pete. PJ shot a 59, and Cyrus shot a 82. So we'll make sure to check us out this Thursday on Rumble. Again, I will put the link to that video from last week's show so you can check it out if you missed it. So Intellivision Invasion Facebook group, that's another weekly challenge. That is Kevin Schultz. I believe he is still in here. I saw him a little bit ago. He runs that. It's very easy to participate. Every week there's a new game. The winner from the previous week picks, which a lot of times is Rick. We have had a few new winners here lately, but this last one we had Pac-Man, and get a load of this. Rick Weidman, I know, shocking, 722,380 points on Pac-Man. Gosh. Oh. Second place was Kyle Raymond with 161, to give you a little bit of an idea, the gap there from first to second. And then third place was the man himself, Kevin Schultz, with 69,970, which I thought was a really good score. I can't remember where I'm at in that, but I don't think I'm anywhere near even Kevin. There were 9 players this week that submitted scores for Pac-Man. This week they're playing Bump and Jump. Now, that just did get started. There's only 3 players so far that have submitted scores, but the high was Antonio Cicerelli, 152,494 points. Pretty impressive score to start it off. Now, that still goes all the way through Sunday, so you have plenty of time to get in your score. It's very simple. If you have the game, you can emulate, you can play original hardware. You just play and take a picture of your screen and post it up, listing the points, the game, the instructions, the manual, the overlays. Kevin posts all that stuff, makes it as easy as possible to participate. So a little bit of Elektronite news. If anyone happens to be in the area, they're going to be at Super Castle Video in Stony Creek, Ontario, live on location in June. The date and the time will follow, but they're going to have a lot of their games on display, and they're going to be offering discounted prices if you are there. Again, the date will be coming soon, and I'll give you guys bonus points if you send me pictures and videos if you show up. I'd love to see those. And again, in the description, I'm going to put a link to the post, so you can check it out. So next up, we have the Inti Basic Tiny Contest, and this was quite a big ordeal for me. I know I quite enjoyed it. There were 9 entries entered into the contest. We have the Blob by Peripheral. We have Canyon Escape by Llaneros. We have Chippy by Deckel, Cart Tag by Harvey of 511 Under, Max It by Sergio Vardes, and Miss Paku Paku by Brian's Man Cave, Pensate by Michael Hayes, Pinty by Deckel, and Sheep It Up by Dr. Ludos. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. The course of the contest saw many discussions. YouTubers were playing these games all over. I watched, I think, every single one that I found playing them. There was a high score thread that I started on Intellivision Invasion, and every time someone would play, I would update it, and you could see all the screenshots, and I kept all the games, and whoever participated, they made it to the board. I even had my son playing on some of them. He really likes a lot of the games in that contest. So when it was contest ended, there was 42 votes. The voting got extended a little bit, so 42 people voted, and that was a pretty good participation. So Peripheral and Canyon Escape tied for first, and there was Peripheral was the Blob, and Canyon Escape was Llaneros. And there was also a tie for second place, and that was Max It by Sergio Vardes and Sheep It Up by Dr. Ludos. And Chippy from Deckel took home the third place. And, the prize pool was already there from Oscar, and I doubled the prizes. Carlos, he added ebooks for the top 5. Shortly after I doubled the prizes, Rick tripled the prizes. And then Rev, he put, I think it was 3 CIB homebrews for first, 2 for second, 1 for third, and then catalogs available for everyone who participated. So the prize pool just kept getting bigger as this thing went on, more people adding to it. It was great to see. I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens with these games. I know some of them have plans for them. Others are just going to be completely fixed and released. And hopefully tonight, on the show, we're going to find out a little bit more. So we'll get into that in a few more minutes. So next up, I've talked about doing a YouTuber highlight for a while, and I would like to start tonight. And we've already kind of talked a little bit about it, but I have Retro Bliss Gaming, and as the name states, it's a retro gaming channel, and he does a lot more Intellivision-rated content these days. He's started collecting even recently, and it shows he's bought games. He's into the homebrew scene as well. I've heard him say he's kind of getting hooked on the Intellivision scene. Like a lot of us, I'm an Intellivision guy, but I love Atari. I have a huge collection behind this wall over here of Atari 2600. So a lot of us, we're generational gamers. We like a lot of this old stuff, and so does he. He has nearly 2,000 subs. He has close to 700 videos already posted. He has a regular podcast, which will be tomorrow. It is Tuesdays, and oh boy, I think it's 5 o'clock Pacific time, which is 8 Eastern. And he has a lot of really cool guests on. Recently, he had on Michael Thomasson, which you don't see him doing interviews. That was really cool to, see Mike Thomasson on there. And he also has some cool co-hosts. We have Mike of Mike's Gaming Gala and Brian of BD Retro Mods, the guy that brings us all those nice controllers that we love. He goes live almost every day on the weekdays. And, I'm at work and I'm working and I just throw them up almost every day I catch. Sometimes I'm a little bit late, but I always catch up afterwards and get what I missed. So I really like watching Phil, and we're going to have him pop on real quick here. And I'm sure if you go check out his channel, you're going to find him definitely worthy of a sub. So let's bring on Phil, and he can tell us a little bit about his channel. What's going on? Welcome, sir.
Hey, what's going on, Casey? Thanks for having me on, bro.
You are welcome. Glad to have you.
So I'm on the Discord letting the guys know that I'm on your show.
Oh, nice.
I'm letting Mike and Brian, they're giving me a hard time.
Oh, there already. They are.
Yeah, they're already on there.
I see Mike.
Yeah.
So I've kind of talked a little bit, what I know about your show, but if you just briefly want to tell us, like how you got started, your interest in gaming, what we can expect to find on your channel. And that should about do it. And hopefully you get a few more followers after this.
Okay. Briefly, how I got started, I retired from the Postal Service after 33 years of service there. And I thought, what am I going to do? So we had COVID around that time, and I thought, well, I play video games, and so I thought no one's going to watch me, but I'll just do it anyway. Well, people started watching and subbing, and I had my first console in 1977. I got the Atari 2600 the year it came out.
Nice.
Yeah, that's what I asked for Christmas. That's what we got. And I didn't come from a rich family or anything, but my parents bought me one. And back in those days, it was equivalent to someone spending $900 these days. And so I come from a blue collar family. That's a lot of money. And so, but from then on, I had to buy my own video games. And you guys know how my disdain for Pac-Man 2600. I had to buy that with my own money. I was so upset when I got that thing. But anyway, I digress. But anyway, I started a retro channel, and I bought me a Retron 77. I thought, man, this thing will play cartridges because I didn't have a 2600. I'd sold mine a long time ago. And so I started collecting cartridges for the 2600. And then next thing you know, I ended up buying a 2600 modded, of AV modded one. And then I started buying other consoles and buying more games. And, then my wife started making me sleep on the couch, and yeah. And then I retired, and then, I started the channel, and so here we are. So what my channel's about is I do reviews for games, but most of my reviews, or not all of them, but a lot of them are for homebrews. Now I love the Atari consoles, but I've been playing a lot more Intellivision lately, as you mentioned prior to me coming on. There's a reason for that, and a lot of that has to do with Michael Hayes, who's I think going to be on a little bit later, possibly. Yep. The reason is he's developed this a front end for the JZ INTV emulator for Windows. It's called the I have to look here, the Portable Intellivision Development Environment, and it's a great front end for Windows. And I actually was on, we recorded and went over how to install this for Windows, and I'm going to be posting a video on my channel on how to do that.
Sweet. So I was going to ask you about that because I've been waiting to talk about that because I know you've been working on a video. So, and I know Mike is going to be doing the same thing. So we're all kind of waiting for your video to come out.
Yep, it's going to be really soon. We did the majority of that today. I got to do the editing, obviously. You know how that goes. But we're going to be having that out soon. But we have a lot going on the channel. We do, like I say, we do the game controllers, game reviews, console reviews, but we also do a lot of live gameplay. And that's how we actually met, I believe.
Yep.
And usually it's somewhere, I don't have a set time, but it's usually between 11 and 11:30 weekdays Eastern Standard Time. And so, and then we also have a podcast every Tuesday that you mentioned at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you mentioned Mike from Mike's Gaming Gala. He's a panelist, a regular panelist, and so is Brian from BD Retro Mods. He has made some excellent controllers. I have purchased many controllers. His kids are in college thanks to me.
You and me both.
Yeah. Mike says I stole that line from me, Mike from Mike's Gaming Gala. So anyway, but and one other thing I want to mention, we used to have what's called a Retro Bliss Ninja contest. And I don't know if you remember what that is or not, but
oh yes, and you're bringing it back, and I'm going to start playing every chance I get.
Oh, good. I
want to kick Mike's butt, to be honest.
Yeah, good. I hope you do, because he needs to be brought down a notch or two, because he thinks he's that.
He's pretty good. Chips. I'm not going to lie, he's pretty good, but I like the challenge.
Yeah. Someone needs to bring him down a notch or two. But it's what happens is we pick a couple games. And we're going to be changing the rules a little bit from our prior rules, but basically the same. We pick a couple games, and you guys play amongst each other. And I actually wasn't prepared for this part of it, but I do happen to have this. Whoever wins gets, you know how Activision did with Atari. If you got a certain score, you would get a patch in the mail, right? Well, what if you are the winner? You become what I deem you a Retro Bliss ninja, and I send you a card like this in the mail, and then I send you a sticker. So, and you know, you guys are all older guys, but you guys eat it up. You love it. And we have one guy, his handle is Operation Shutdown, and I think he's won. I did it for probably 9 or 10 months before I put a pause on it, and I think he won like 15 or 16 times, man.
Oh wow.
He had quite a few. But anyway, and Mike has actually participated quite a bit, but he said I got
when he's good at the game. He says he's won 4 out of 6 tries.
Yeah, there's a particular guy that he didn't want to play against because he was worried about it, because he knew that he was going to lose against him, so he quit playing. He did like my brother did when I was playing him Intellivision baseball. I used to know how to hit a home run every time when my brother played, so my brother quit playing me. So that's where Mike was. I'm not going to play him anymore because he beats me every time.
So well, I know I always enjoy your show, and I am also a channel member.
Thank you for that. Appreciate it.
You do have memberships. That's another thing I don't think either one of us mentioned. Where can everyone find you? YouTube, Discord.
Yes, at Retro Bliss Gaming on YouTube. You can find me on Rumble, and you can also let's see. I have a Discord server, but if you want to get on the Discord server, simply click on one of my recent videos. There's a link in one of the recent videos to get onto our Discord server, which, by the way, I don't know if you need help with a Discord server, I may have a person that can help you out, set it up really nice, because the person who set up mine, anytime I post a video on my channel, it automatically gets posted on the Discord server. It's really nice.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's a time saver.
Yeah. It's really sweet. So
Cyrus says Retro Bliss has some great content for sure, and he's on like all the time. It's like you can always find him doing some cool stuff. He does a little bit of everything.
Thanks, Mega Graphics. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate the support. I have probably some of the best subscribers and audience in the world. I mean, the shirt I have on right now, I got from Pittsburgh. I drove to Pittsburgh for a gaming convention, and one of my subscribers gave it to me there. He just gave it to me. He said, "Hey, man,
nice.
I wanted to give this to you." I was on email and Facebook what it was, and someone said, "Do you have one of these?" And it was a picture of a Famicom. I said, "No, I'm wanting to get one." He goes, "You do now," and he mails it to me. I'm like, "Really?" These people are the greatest, man. They're just awesome, and they're just, and it's not, people start the channels thinking they're gonna, make money, and you're not. People who start these channels, are even with channel memberships and whatnot. If you think about the equipment that it takes to get going, and all the things that you buy, and the equipment that it takes to have a channel, and the home brews that you have to review, and all this other stuff, you're really not making money. It's not about that. It's about the friends that you make, and the relationships, and that kind of thing. And for me, that's what it's all about, and I appreciate that. And I love all you guys, man. I wouldn't do it with otherwise. There's no point.
Yeah. I'm the same way. I'm doing it to spread awareness for Intellivision. I'm doing it for nothing else. I'm a collector, and I just want to share, the wealth of information, and, meet new people. I love all the people I'm meeting. I met you through Mike. And as soon as I went there, it's like, boom, it's like I'm on all the time watching as much as I can get. If I miss something, I put it on that watch it now and catch up later. Yeah,
that's another thing too. If you miss a live stream, I leave it up. Most of the views for my videos, those are actually after the live streams. So, and that's another thing. Tomorrow night, Tuesday night, we have Daryl Ginther, who is a programmer for the Atari 7800. He programmed Popeye, and it is one of the most amazing homebrews for the Atari 7800. And when I played that game on Friday,
and today,
I played it a little bit today because I had a little bit of a cheat code I wanted to show everybody, but it wasn't so much for gameplay. I just wanted to show everybody the cheat code. But Friday, when I did it for gameplay purposes, I got a really good response on the video. So yeah, but but we've had you on the show twice. We've had John Champeau of Champ Games, who is a great programmer for Atari 2600. We've had Lewis Hill. We've had Bob DiCrescenzo on there. I'm afraid I'm going to miss somebody if I keep going, but we've had some other guests on there, and it's just been a great ride, and I appreciate everybody who's been involved. So, and I appreciate you having me on the show today. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming on. And, like always, if you go check out Retro Bliss and you're someone that likes seeing interviews, go check out all those old videos. Scroll through when you see a name, that you're interested in, watch it. That's what I do. You never know what people are posting sometimes and you missed them. Go catch up on them. It's always cool to hear interviews and people talking about things that come on the shows. And a lot of them you miss. But definitely give Retro Bliss a check. I'm sure you're going to give them a sub as well. So I thank you for coming on, and I'll probably see you tomorrow morning on the live stream.
Well, great. Thanks for tuning in, and thank you everybody for watching. And you guys, the Intellivision Gamers, where it's at, man. You get your news here, man. It's the best place to get your Intellivision news right here, buddy. I watch every week, so
I appreciate that. There's a few of us, we're a smaller community, but you got Mike, Papa Pete, Intellivision Dude. You got channels like you that are mainly something else, but you're doing Intellivision as well. And I try to tune in and support everyone the best I can, and I appreciate that. All right. Well, I'll see you in the morning. I'm looking forward to it.
All right, Casey. Take care, buddy.
All right. Have a good night.
You too.
All right. So the YouTuber highlight, as you might have heard a little bit ago, I went to click to get him ready, and it just starts playing stuff. So Retro Bliss has that interview I talked about with Michael Thomasson. And if you don't know who that is the guy behind Good Deal Games. Now, he teaches video game history, runs a storefront. I'm sure many of you are familiar with it. I put a link in the description for that video specifically, as well as to Phil's Retro Bliss Gaming channel. I suggest you go check it out. I really enjoyed watching Michael on there, so I'm sure you will as well. He's a very interesting guy. Brian's Man Cave, we just talked about it. I had this on here before I got him to come on live. He has a video talking about his ROMs and being on his website, and I put a link to that as well. So if you want to check out his video on the ROMs, definitely go to the description and click the link. And I believe that's going to bring us to mail call. So I've got a few things, unlike last week where I had nothing. It's the first week in months that I had nothing. So this one I saw recently on eBay, which I haven't really, to be honest, been on there a whole lot unless someone sends me a link and I'm like, I can't resist. But this one was a fairly good box for Pac-Man Atari Soft. I thought maybe it could be an upgrade to mine. Mine is kind of mutilated on the top. So I grabbed Pac-Man by Atari Soft. And this is something that I get quite frequently, but I love getting them anyway. So you guys everything. The new issue of Retro Gamer came. And then today I got a package, and it is quite relevant. Michael Hayes is the only one that's not allowed to answer. So I bought this. Oh boy, peanuts everywhere. They're going to go flying. So I'm curious if anyone knows with what the show topic is. Again, except for Michael Hayes. Oh, these things are everywhere. I hate peanuts. Does anyone know why I might have bought the Aquarius data recorder? The answer is Kool-Aid. This is the Aquarius data recorder. What could I possibly, with this contest related, what could I be doing with it? I know some of you guys are going to know in the panel here. Let me catch up here. Mr. Poe Style, what is up? Another good channel, Retro Gaming. I love watching Mr. Poe. Yeah, Monday nights. It works out better, not stepping on anyone's toes. Plus, you know, you guys don't want to watch 4 or 5 hours in a row of retro stuff on YouTube. Nope, not Kool-Aid Man, but you already know, and you're not allowed to answer this one. I see the answer already. Chippy. So I'm going to be working on a video to play Chippy on original hardware. So Michael Hayes has been helping me. I needed the data recorder to hook into the ECS, and then from my phone, I'm going to record onto the tapes, and I'm really looking forward to trying that. This was, besides cabling, I believe this is the last piece that I need. So in the near future, I've got a lot of little mini vacations in the next month, and then it's Father's Day weekend. But I definitely am going to be working on that video. Nobody really did it. I mean, a couple people did, but nobody could play Chippy. And it was probably the most impressive thing in the contest. But it was an emulator built to run inside the Intellivision. And I am taking on the task of, you know, with Michael's help, you know, playing it on original hardware. So expect that video to come up. I think it's quite interesting to be able to do that. It's definitely not easy, and you need a lot of equipment and some help from guys like Michael Hayes. Deckel sent me some information as well on it. Save your vocabulary list in the Jetsons Ways with Words. So you could load games that take about 20 minutes. Well, hopefully these don't take that long, but if they do, they do. I'll shorten that in the video. Cyrus says you're going to add heavy metal soundtracks to your gameplay. Buy an Aquarius Plus. I actually have one of those. I do have an Aquarius Plus. Chippy is an emulator built to run inside of the Intellivision. You can find links to the Tiny contest. It is in there. You can download it. Like I said, it's not quite easy to run, but I know someone like you could definitely figure it out. GameZar's here. Welcome, sir. Mazatron Deep Dive. It's definitely not Tarman. Dude's probably lurking. I know he watches, but he doesn't chat a lot. But it's definitely, you won't find Tarman on here. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff I don't have yet, but I'm working on that slowly but surely. I've also got another video. Man, I've got so much stuff over there that I can't even pick it up and carry it. Probably like 6 boxes from one person. That person's going to come on and be a special guest, and we're going to talk about collecting, variants, all kinds of things. It's just been waiting for him and I to both have time. That's definitely going to be a good show, and you're going to see a lot of cool stuff that I've been, you know, leaving out of mail call, and you're going to see it all on one show. I'm really looking forward to that because I haven't even opened the stuff. I don't even know what I have anymore. It's been so long and so many packages from him. He just messages me. He's like, hey, do you have this? I'm like, no. You want it? Well, you know I do. And so, you know, he sends me big packages. We've been doing a little bit of trading as well. So I really look forward to having him on in the near future. Kind of lost where the heck I'm at here. Just mail call. Okay, Homebrew Highlight. So I thought it was, you know, fitting. I try, if possible, to showcase a game that's kind of related. So the Intellivision Basic Showcase Volume 2. Now, I reached out to Rev, and originally I thought these were from contests, but these are smaller type games that, you know, don't really warrant a full CIB release, and they were done in Inti Basic, so that's where the name came from. But since we are talking and having a panel on about the Inti Basic showcase, I thought that would be fitting. And here is the back of the box. We have the cart. Here is the nice color manual. There's several pages. Obviously, when you have, you know, several games, you can't just have a 2-pager. And then there are 6 overlays, 2 for each game. And the games were 2048, which is a puzzle game. I'm sure a lot of you guys are familiar with it. It's on many things. Oh Mummy and Meteor Storm, which is a space shooter, a 3D space shooter. And I'm going to give it a quick play and just show you guys. Now, I did post on my Facebook, Instagram, and on Intellivision Invasion, and you can check out all the pictures and some video gameplay. I have all that. I started doing the gameplay. I'm like, you know, I really like seeing actual gameplay, so I figured you guys would too. So I take the time and do a little bit of gameplay. All right, gotta hurry up. I got all those panel guys waiting. Took a little bit longer. Lots of good content. Last week's show, I felt bad. You know, I kind of had last minute. I wasn't feeling good. I skipped and missed things. You know, I rewatched it. I'm like, yeah, it wasn't bad, but you know, this week's definitely a lot better. Got a cool show. Lots of good information. So let's switch on over here. I'm going to show you really quick some Random Guys Presents and Inti Basic Showcase in appreciation of our friend Oscar. So here we have 2048. Then we have Oh Mummy, Meteor Storm, and Ultimate Soccer. We'll get to that in a minute. So I'm just going to briefly, a few seconds, show each one. Hopefully you guys can hear that a little bit. So the object of this is to move up, down, left, right, and get the numbers to climb into each other. And, you know, I love puzzle games like this. I'm not going to say I'm the best at them. So you just keep going until there's no more moves. So 2s combine with 2s, 4 combines with 4s, 8s, 8s, and so forth. I don't think I can get back out. Just going to have to do it this way. All right. Oh, Mummy. This was the first time I've played this one. So you have to surround, at least I'm assuming this is what you do. Surround them without getting hit. And I'm assuming you have to get through the whole level and get them all. I honestly only played it to try it out and record. I'm not sure too much on what is involved with the game and how far and how in depth it is. There's a second mummy. So I imagine it's kind of like a maze game here where you're avoiding and strategizing how to complete the squares. Let's see what happens when you get hit. I'm sure you just die, but come here. Now that I want you to, you're not coming after me. There we go. All right, moving on. This one's kind of cool. Little 3D space shooter. I had seen, this is the only one I had seen before on the Intellivision. Meteor Storm. There's Warp. Catch up with chat here in a second. So you have objects coming at you in space, and you're just on like a gunner. You're a gunner, basically. Plays really smooth. Now, again, I don't know. I haven't played this but just a few minutes, but I do enjoy this type of game, being a gunner. All right, now one more I'll show you guys just to show you. I'm like, what? I didn't see this on the box. Ultimate Soccer. April Fool's Day by 2018 by Nano Chess. So you can, I don't really know if there's, you know, you catch these. I don't really know what you're supposed to do, but the animation on this guy running is really cool. I don't know if this was a tech demo. I forgot to reach out and get some information about this. All right, switch back over here, guys. All right, so there is your Homebrew Highlight of the week. I've been doing these every week for quite a while, and this is the 15th live show in as many weeks. So it's been a lot of work. Wife isn't too happy because a lot of times I'm staying up late, working on things, talking to people, getting things lined up. And, you know, it's like, it's a struggle to do it every week. You know, you got family stuff going on, and, you know, you're always, every time I see something, I'm like, ooh, stick that in the notes, stick that in the notes. And then I go through and organize it. And then the weekends, you know, if I have a busy weekend like the next 4, I'm going to be gone. One, I'm going to have to do something recorded, but I've got some content already. I'm going to put a little more together, and I'm going to do a premiere where I'll be in chatting, and it'll be a show set up. So yeah, it's been a fun ride. It took a little bit to get me going, and I didn't have my own day. So once I've got switched over where I had a time slot, I really got going, and I've been enjoying it. But next week is going to be gameplay. So I don't know if it's going to be horse racing. We are working on Intellivision Jeopardy. That's not going to be ready by next week, but that's going to be a game show with 3 to 4 live participants. We're working on the first show for that, and I need to work on the behind the scenes and see how I'm going to do this with overlays and green screens and cameras and how the points are going to work. We've got Roger and a few other people working on questions. I expect that's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm really looking forward to bringing that out. So next up, I would like to bring on the main part of tonight's show, and that is programmers from the Inti Basic Tiny Contest. So in the order as I see him down here, let's welcome Michael Hayes, who programmed Pinsate, among many other things, and Brian of Brian's Man Cave, who programmed Miss Paku Paku, among many other games, and Harvey of 511 Under, who programmed Kart Tag. I believe that's the sole racing game. I really enjoyed that game. My son and I were up here playing it a lot as Miss Paku Paku. Pinsate, my son didn't, understand that one a whole well, but I played mini games trying to get the high score. I really enjoy that. It's like a puzzle thinking game, I call it kind of like playing chess. It's on a chessboard and you have to think moves ahead and know what's going on. But it's like, I appreciate you guys coming on. We have some programmers who sent in video responses to the answers. So what we're going to do is I have answers or questions numbered 1 through 14, and I'm going to showcase each one of you guys. Whenever you see yourself full screen, that's your go, and then I'll just rotate out. And then whenever we've got a video to play, after you guys go with question 1, then I'm going to load up Jan Arrow's question 1. And then there's a couple people with either they're on the opposite side of the world or, they have a language barrier. They wanted to participate, so they sent me text responses. So I will read their text responses so you guys can still get more information. Before we get started, let me make sure that I'm not missing anything big in chat. I always start doing everything in the show and forget to catch up. Yeah, 15 shows straight. It's been quite a lot of work. It's been fun. I've learned a lot, had a lot of cool guests on, played a lot of games. Eric, thank you. Appreciate that. A lot of stuff planned, so very little time. So there's a lot of cool stuff that every time I speak with someone or, I think of another idea, I log it all so they don't get lost. But, just give me some time. We'll have a lot of more cool stuff. We have a lot of guests on all the time, like all these guys here today. It's very cool that they take the time out of their day to come and talk about the contest and their games and field some questions. It's always a lot better to have people speak to you than to just read about everything. And that's all you guys see is me reading information. I don't like to do that. When possible, I like to have everyone on live. All right, so let's get started here. All right, so question 1, and let me bring this over here. All right, so whenever you pop in the big box, you are up. Please briefly introduce yourself.
Okay. So I'm Michael Hayes, and I eat, sleep, and breathe Intellivision, have pretty much my whole life. And anytime I would go to other consoles, I always found myself gravitating back to Intellivision. But in 2018, I came back to the indie scene because after I read the book Programming Games for Intellivision, and then just cranked out a game for the 2018 Inti Basic contest, and just was impressed with how easy Inti Basic was to work with, and saw that all the tools, everything was available in Linux. I said, well, there should be a way I can make a dev environment that runs on an Android device. So that's exactly what I did, and it just went from there. And then in 2020, because I wanted to make my dev environment more accessible to people, that's when I wrote my front end. So from there, the rest is history. I made several more games since then, but I'm always just more interested in how do we sort of like disseminate Intellivision to more people that have never played. Yep. So that's about the most concise thing I can give you here.
And you've done a lot of great stuff. I appreciate all the things you've done as everyone in this panel. It's like you guys continuously bring us more joy out of our Intellivision and other retro games. It is always greatly appreciated. All right, so next up we have Brian.
Oh, okay. Same question.
Yep.
Yeah, so I grew up with the Intellivision as well. I think a lot of us did. It was our family's first console, and I've always enjoyed the games on it. I've always enjoyed the system, even when I had later systems like the Nintendo and the Commodore 64. It's always been my favorite go-to system. And I started a YouTube channel back in 2016, I believe. And a lot of it was talking about my favorite games on the Intellivision, the Atari, Glico, all the different retro systems. And I also dabbled in programming throughout high school years and when I was a kid on my Commodore 64. So when I saw Oscar's book, the one that Michael just showed, programming games for the Intellivision, I was intrigued. So I spoke to him a bit. I asked him what the language was like, and he was like, well, if you understand this, you should be okay. So I bought the book, and ever since I've been making games. So it's been a wild ride. Lots of games. Yeah, I've been on a kind of I went on a binge. I was like making game. Then I kind of slowed down. I'm like, okay, I want to start, focusing a little bit more on the games themselves, try to make them better, more impressive. So I've been learning ever since. Even today, there's a game I'm working on, and I learned something new today. So it's a wild ride. I'm having a lot of fun.
Yep, I definitely appreciate your effort, as do many, I can tell you that. All right, so next up we have Harvey. Same question. Briefly introduce yourself.
Hello, world. I had a very obscure console when I was a kid or a youth, and but then at some point, probably 1980, my brother bought a Sinclair or Timex ZX80, and then a ZX81. Sorry, ZX81, depending on where you live. And yeah, then I got into programming. Since then, now I'm doing a lot of hardware and software, various consoles, and just trying to have fun.
All right, so now we have our first video entry, and that is from Llaneros. But first, let me play that one here.
Llaneros, I'm working on Intellivision since 2020, something like that. Basically starting with hardware mod, doing an RGB mod for the Intellivision here in France that was not existing. People said it's not working. I got an Intellivision, tried it, and communicated on some forums, and then people liked it and wanted me to build some for them. And then I started with IntyBASIC, tinkering around, doing some little games for myself. Basically, that's it. And that's where I started with retro computing some 4 years ago, same time as COVID, as a lot of people, I think.
All right. So, and then we have Sergio. Sergio sent us a basic miscellaneous video, and then he had internet problems, and he recorded all the answers, but he wasn't able to get them to me. So he did send text question or answers, but I'm going to go ahead and play that video right now.
Hi, Casey. Hi, everybody. I'm Sergio from Intellivision Brazil, and my English is not so good, so I wrote down the text on my cell phone to help me. And right now I'm at the sea on my way to New York, so I'm swinging a little bit. And I would like to thank everyone who played Maxit. It was a great challenge to create a game in such a short time. I think it took about 5 days, for the first version. And it was a pleasure to be able to participate in the contest alongside so many talented people. And I'm working on a deluxe version of Maxit with improved AI and new game modes, and I hope to complete it in the next few weeks. Thank you all so much for supporting Homebrew development, and long live for Intellivision. Bye-bye.
All right, so now I have Dr. Ludos from Sheep It Up. I'm just going to go ahead and read theirs. And whenever I read somebody's, I'm going to put them up. So let me see here. Not that. That way you guys know what game they did and who it is. So Dr. Ludos said he's an amateur game designer and game developer with a passion for retro gaming and the history of video games. So he tends to create games on vintage machines like Game Boy, SNES, Mega Drive, Atari 2600, etc. But I also love to create modern experimental games, usually playable in the browser. So that is from Dr. Ludos. All right. So next up, we have the second question. I've got too many papers going on here. All right. So we'll try to keep the same order, but so first up, we have Michael Hayes. What social media platforms can viewers find you on? Things like AtariAge, YouTube, Facebook, etc.
Well, yeah, definitely AtariAge. I'm on there sporadically these days, but the big ones are I do live stream on Twitch on Thursday mornings, like really, really early Thursday mornings. And then YouTube, I sporadically post videos. But those are really the big ones. You might find me on, say, Facebook, Instagram, a few others. All my social media links are at the bottom of my website.
Do you want to throw that out there?
Oh, yeah. That's I'll put it in the chat.
Okay.
And then also, hopefully it won't bounce me for putting a link in the chat.
It should work.
All right. And then I also do have a server on Discord, but usually I only promote it like privately to people individually, but I am on Discord.
I recently got on there.
Yeah. Now, my handle on AtariAge is Zendicon, and that's named after an Atari Lynx game because Atari, but everywhere else I go by Inti Lab, and that's short for Intellivision Laboratory.
Okay, yeah. At first, I didn't know who the other name was. You know, you try to learn. Some people have a different name for literally everything they're on. You know, YouTube, Rumble, you know, AtariAge. Like, I try to keep the same one. It's like you have to kind of learn who's who. So,
yep. But
all right.
So it's from an Atari Lynx game.
Okay, I'm not familiar with that game. I'll have to check it out. All right, Brian's Man Cave. Same question.
Yeah, a lot of the same. I'm on the Facebook and Twitter mostly. You can also see me on AtariAge, all under Brian's Man Cave. I kept it simple. I don't have any other handles. And yeah, my own website, briansmancave.com. We were talking about that earlier, where you can download or purchase my ROMs. And what else am I on? I did dabble in Discord, but I just found that it's just too many social media channels for me. I want to focus on, you know, I'm like, I don't want to get into that too. So primarily you'll find me on Facebook, Twitter, and of course my YouTube channel, Brian's Man Cave.
Yeah, it makes it easy. I noticed that some people a lot of people have a core of things they're on, and then everyone has like X. I'm not on Twitter or X, but you know, a lot of people are. And then someone else will be over here on this one. So it's just sometimes it's hard just to find all the platforms that people are on. So that's why I put this question in there. So Harvey, same question. Where can we find you?
On the only place that matters.
AtariAge.
That's AtariAge, yes. Yeah, I do have my own website where I basically just sell my stuff. But other than that, it's just AtariAge. I mean, you know, I'm here and there elsewhere, but mostly just AtariAge.
Do you want to throw the website in chat, or I can't remember what it is off the top of my head?
Yeah, I'll throw it in the chat. Yeah.
All right. So now we have Llaneros, and I'll let him speak.
On AtariAge, YouTube, I have a small channel with showing some of my stuff and some French forums, Gamopat mainly.
All right, so Dr. Ludos, and that's Sheep It Up. Let me put that up. Boy, I've never bounced around through so many of these little. All of his games are publicly released on itch.io, and I'll put the link in the description. It's drludos.itch.io. Those of you that know, you know how to get there. I'm new to that. I know it's where you can posts games, and people can go download them, and they can also donate, I believe. I've only been there a few times. He has a Patreon page where people can gain unique access to beta versions of games before they're released publicly, and that's patreon.com/Dr. Ludos. He's also a member of AtariAge forums, of course, where the contest originated under the nickname Dr. Ludos. Last, he has a Twitter or X account, but he shares it with his colleagues, and he uses that to announce his games, among other new things. It's x.com/ludoscience. And then, let's see, Sergio says people can find him on, and that was the guy who programmed Maxit and X Rally or Rally X. I always get that confused. Where is it? X Rally on Intellivision. He says people can find him on Facebook and Instagram. He also runs the Intellivision Brazil website, and that is intellivisionbrazil.com.br. It's also in English, not just Portuguese, so definitely check it out. There is a lot of cool information on that website. All right, so let's get back into this. Oh, there's too many of these. All right, so now let's move on to the third question. And this one is going to be, please tell us the name of your game, a brief description, and how you play. And we'll start again with Michael.
All right. So my game is, I've always said Pensate, but I don't even know how it's supposed to be pronounced after I heard Pensate. But anyhow, I was originally going to put Pensate into something called chessboard games, which would have like Pensate on one side of the screen, and the other side of the screen would be like some kind of Knight's Tour puzzle. But then I thought it'd be perfect for this contest. So again, it was originally a Commodore 64 game. I think it was on other platforms like the Apple II, but I decided to just give it a chessboard theme, and also I used all three of the Intellivision sound channels to simulate a sort of harp effect, and I added a scoring system because I don't think the other ones had a score at all. I originally played it in Windows 3.1 myself, but so anyhow, so yeah, you have a man, you start on at the bottom row of a chessboard anywhere, and then you got other pieces on the chessboard, and you just take turns. You move one step, up, down, left, right, then everybody else moves. And there's on one side of the screen, there's a legend to show you how they're going to move according to your move, but you're trying to get to the top of the chessboard without getting hit. And then you earn points, and then you start again with one more piece on the board. And that's pretty much it. Just a nice, straight to the point, simple game. Something you can just pick up and play for a couple of minutes, because that's the kind of games I really specialize in these days. So yeah, I went ahead and wrote that for the contest, and also not only that, but I Twitch live streamed writing the game. So if you go out to my Twitch channel, you'll see me actually work on the game from the ground up.
So there is a quick screenshot of the game. I forgot that I had gameplay screenshots. So as you guys talk about your games, I'll throw it up real quick just so people, if they haven't seen it, can take a quick look.
Yep.
All right. So next up we have Brian. Same thing.
Okay. Well, I made Miss Paku Paku, and it was really, I didn't actually make it for the contest itself, but Rev from Intellivision Revolution reached out to me and asked. He sent me a link to the Paku Paku game. It looks like a DOS game or whatever. It's like a Windows browser game or something. And he's like, "Oh, would you be interested in making this for the Intellivision?" And I thought, that looks kind of neat. And I played it a little bit. It's basically you're Pac-Man, in my case, Miss Pac-Man, and you got to eat all the dots on the single line, including the power pellet, avoiding the ghosts, and then it goes to the next level, and then it progresses. It just gets harder. It gets the ghost moves faster. You move a little slower. The power pellet only lasts for so long. And so I actually I put together the game as just Paku Paku. And Rev kind of came back to me going, I accidentally asked another person at the same time, and now both of you have made this game. And I thought, oh, that's a shame. And I was ready to just scrap it. I'm like, okay, whatever. And then he's like, well, how about make yours Miss Pac-Man? And I'm like, oh, that's cool. I like that idea. So I did that. I changed the colors, created it as Miss Pac-Man, made the bow on her hair and everything, gave her the dimple. And I added in a part of the bonus. So as you're playing, the letters B-O-N-U-S appear at random spots. And if you eat all of them, you will get the bonus score, and then it'll be treated as if you got the power pellet as well. And that's going to save your life a lot in the later levels when the game gets really hard. So I thought, because really the power pellet's hard to get to when the ghosts are moving so fast. And the other thing I added in was I put all 4 ghosts in there. So each level you'll get a different ghost, and then it'll loop after the 4th one. And 2 of the ghosts will actually eat the bonus letters. So you might think you're going to grab
random. Okay.
No, it's 2 of the ghosts. I think it's the 2nd and the 4th ghost, the 4th level. So every 4 level and every 2nd level, the ghost there will eat the B or the O or whatever the letter is out. So you might think you're going to grab it, but the ghost could eat it first. So I thought that would be a little bit of an extra added fun to the game. I mean, the game itself, there isn't a whole lot to it.
It gets hard quite quickly, and some of the high scores that you've seen are people just playing that bonus back and forth, getting the bonus, because once you get to a certain point, and it comes fairly quickly, you can't get the pellets anymore.
Level 10 and up. Yeah, it gets hard. I made the ghost a little bit fast.
Definitely hard. All right, so now we've got Llaneros. Let me get back to here.
It's Canyon Escape is my game. It's a vertical shooter mainly. You traveling through canyon, trying to escape from enemies, and have to avoid boulders and missile coming from top of the screen, aiming at you. Goal is to escape this canyon and to go it as to destroy as much possible boulders and to end up the game with maximum fuel and lives, so that you get a maximum number of points. I started this as a playground to work on vertical scrolling, and I wanted to do a infinite scroll game. So here the scrolling, the graphics are generated tile by tile. Based on random number generation, and how the field is moving is really totally random and can live forever. And when the play was announced, or the challenge was announced, I had this idea in mind and said, okay, let's try it and do something for these challenges. Yeah.
All right, so now we've got a text response from Dr. Ludos. Sheep it up. Throw that on there. All right, so Dr. Ludos says his game is Sheep It Up. It's an arcade game where a sheep has to climb up by hanging himself to flying Velcro straps. And this is another one, believe me, it gets hard fairly quick. The concept is simple, but the game rapidly gets quite challenging. How high can you climb without falling down? So it's just one of those games that is quick and not easy, but it's one of those how far can you get. So instructions, press one of the top 2 action buttons to jump. You can use left and right on the disc to move. A lot of people weren't aware of that. I've seen a lot of people just jumping. Well, you can't move a lot, but you can move a little bit with that disc. So that is it from Dr. Ludos. So next up, we have Sergio Maxit, and he says his game is called Maxit. The screen presents a grid of 10 rows by 10 columns with positive and negative numbers and zeros arranged randomly in the cells. Some cells store hidden numbers represented by a question mark. Player 1 can move horizontally, and player 2 can only move vertically. Each player in turn captures a number that will be added or subtracted from their score. The captured number is removed from the board, and the play continues until all numbers have been captured, or when a player is unable to play. So that is part of the strategy as well. You want to keep a move there if you're losing, and you want to end the game for the other player if you're ahead. The player with the highest score will be the winner. here. All right. So next up, we have question 4. And what was the inspiration for your game?
Actually, before we move on, I think we missed Harvey for the last question.
Oh, sorry, Harvey.
No worries. I was going to answer 2 questions in one, I guess.
It's so much. I've got all these things. Switch, click, click, click. And it's like, I forgot about you. I apologize.
No worries. Yeah, so my game was Kart Tag. It's a timed racing game. Catch all the tags or the required number of tags and avoid the obstacles to get your best time.
So one thing that I can tell you that I really liked about how you did it, there's no failing. Everybody that plays can get through it, and your score, how well you do, is how you judge the game. But even my daughter could play it, and she's not very good at those things, but everybody gets through it. It's just one of those, how fast can you do it?
Yeah, I hadn't thought of that, but that's definitely a feature.
Yep. All right, so now we're going to get to Michael. Question 4. What is the inspiration for your game?
Yeah, so the inspiration was, I know I kind of answered this a little bit before, but I played Pensate in Windows 3.1, and actually, you may remember Robots from Same Game of Robots. That I originally played in Windows 3.1. Let's see, but yeah, there's a few others I had in mind also from Windows 3.1 games. But yeah, I thought this would be the perfect kind of game for Intellivision. Just again, I thought it would be nice if I had like a sort of chessboard look to it, and then it was at the last minute that I decided to add like that pretty harp effect for the background music. But I think it works for when to keep you in the right studious frame of mind. But again, at some point, I was going to put that into an Intellivision game anyhow.
All right. So, Brian, again, you already talked about it as well, but I
kind of talked a little bit, but like I was saying, the idea came from Intellivision Revolution, and it's not the intention to make it into a boxed copy or anything like that on its own. What he was telling me what he wants to do is create a Pac-Man compilation. And so it's going to have a whole bunch of these Pac-Man games. And so we were actually, after I put together Miss Paku Paku, he was like, is there any other ones you might want to create? And I was thinking, wouldn't it be cool if there was one, like right now it's just a line. What if there was like one with like a cross? Or what if you can go into several rooms and have like a grid of rooms, and it's almost like a really big Pac-Man board. So we were kind of throwing ideas like that. And really, I jumped on this Paku Paku thing because I was working on I'm working on a bunch of games. And so the one I'm working on right now, which I'm hoping will be a good release, you just, after a while, you just want to take a break. And you're like, I'm sure other programmers would agree. You're working on a big game, and you just kind of want to stop for a bit and take your mind off of it and start something fresh. And so I thought this would be a nice little break. I could put my game down, jump on this, do this Miss Paku Paku game, which I think it took me like 3 days. Like it wasn't a big thing. Like, I wasn't working on it all day, just a little bit of time every once in a while when I had some time to put it together. And so, it was really, really more just like a little project that I was throwing together. And at the same time, the contest popped up, and I'm like, hey, why don't I throw it in there? I mean, it's possibly going to go on this compilation cartridge, and I also made it available on my website as a free download. So just in case people don't go on the AtariAge forums or don't know where it is, you can go on my website and download the Miss Paku Paku there.
Yep, it's available on your website, and I don't know if I put the link to your website. I had it on there, and if I didn't, I'll add it. And I also have the link to all the AtariAge threads. And now we're not forgetting Harvey. Harvey, And before we get started here, I got to show something. So I also forgot to show that. There is the gameplay screen. You're the pink car at the bottom, and you collect the green tags, and you avoid everything else. And it starts off fairly slow, but it gets really fast by the end. And, you know, I really enjoyed this game, as did my son. My daughter even played this one a little bit. So, all right. So same question. What was the inspiration for the game?
I started this actually in a very rough demo form a little over a year ago for a project that got canceled. But I've always loved racing games. I've got a half-finished one for the ColecoVision. So yeah, it was easy for me to get the road moving. You know, then I just went at it from there, and I tried to, I guess, make it as good as I could.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. So, all right. So now I've got a video response from Jan. I mean, I'm going to try to, by the end of this, I'm going to be clicking the right screens here.
No, nothing special. Was really having something in mind that I wanted to try. So
that was an easy one. So he was just trying to figure things out, and a game came of it. I'm sure some of you guys can relate. I know things start as tech demos sometimes, and they end up as a game. All right, so Sergio from Maxit. Let me switch back over to this way. So Sergio Varez did Maxit, and he says his inspiration, he discovered the game through an IBM PC version in 1987 and thought it would be a cool game for the contest. So that's where he got his. And then we've got Dr. Ludos for Sheep It Up. And he says, actually quite a bit of a backstory behind the project. At first, the game was created for Game Boy during a homebrew game jam back in 2017, namely the Bit Jam number 4. We had 3 weeks to create brand new games from scratch under randomly picked theme Velcro Sheep. During this event, I had the idea of a game where a sheep was using flying Velcro straps to climb higher and higher. So that's the game I created. I received good feedback on the gameplay, so I decided to keep working on the game to make it worthy of a cartridge release. The full version of this Game Boy title is available in the beautiful crafted box manufactured by Yastuna Games. Yastuna, Yastuna Games.com. It's a long, if you search, I'm sure you can go search Sheep It Up and find it. Later in 2018, I also wanted to try my hand at Atari 2600 game development, so I decided to port this game to the machine as it seemed to be good fit for one-button action controller. The 2600 version of the game developed with wonderful Atari Basic. Am I pronouncing that right, Batari? At first, I thought it was a typo. I thought it was supposed to be Atari Basic. I had to Google that to make sure. Was later picked up and published onto cartridge by AtariAge and is still available. And there's a link here. I'll get that in the description. Fast forward to 2024, I'm discovering that there's a friendly competition on AtariAge forums to create tiny games for the Intellivision using the powerful Inti Basic. The Intellivision was one of the machines I was eyeing for quite some time, hoping to make a game for it someday. Indeed, it's a very interesting piece of hardware, sprites, scrolling, tile map, etc., with a unique selection of games, both classic and modern homebrew. So I figured out it was perfect opportunity to finally start working on the Intellivision. As I was diving into the Intellivision technical documents, I figured out it would be a good fit for Sheep It Up. Indeed, the one-button gameplay makes it easy, and the fine scrolling capabilities of the machine were appealing to make a climbing game. So was born the Let's Bring Sheep It Up on the Intellivision. All right, so now we are up to question 5, and we're going to head back to Michael. And that is, if any, what other Intellivision games or projects have you done before this one? Now, I know all of you have stuff, but...
Oh, yeah. So, well, the first one that I released, that was, well, Same Game, and then I added robots to it. So Same Game and robots came out first. Then I started working on, I started working on Fubar. Again, I wrote that prototype back in 2004, but I was dark for a while, but I did put out a prototype of Bliss, and then I put a prototype out of Robot Finds Kitten. But my actual releases, fast forward to 2018, 2019, there was Bliss and Chocolate Mine. Then there was Fubar final release. Then there's X-Ray and Dillagas. Then there's Little Man Computer, which is a free TutorVision title I put out there. It's on my website. Let's see. There's Triple Challenge Volume 2, which has Hunt the Wumpus on it, along with Robot Finds Kitten, along with Squiddy, which was made by, I believe, Cat's Folly. There's also A Better Mousetrap, which was a very extensive ROM hack of the original Mousetrap. And then also now Melody Blaster 2, which is a very extensive ROM hack of the original Melody Blaster with all new music. So those are the releases I've got right now. Of course, there will be more on the way eventually.
Of course.
Yep.
All right. So Brian's Man Cave, same question. Again, I know you guys, everyone here has several things.
Well, my first release was the Keystone Cops game. And from there, it just went to fast food. We got, of course, Napoleonic Wars. And but I've been working on quite a few games. I have one that's like Gunfight, which is my first 2-player game. It actually, you can play it against the computer, or you can play it against an opponent. So that was kind of fun. That might get released this year for PRGE, Portland Retro Gaming Expo. So that might come out. What else am I working on? I've been working on a bunch of games. There's one I'm working on right now that I'm excited about. I haven't told anybody what it is. First, I'm going to make sure that I can pull it off. I don't want to get people excited and then run into a part of the game where I'm like, I can't figure this out, or I don't have the time to complete it. But yeah, I've done a whole lot of other games that are slowly going to make their way out. Like I said, bunch of them. I got 5 of them. The ROMs are available on my website. So if you go to briansmancave.com, I got the television tab at the top there, and 2 of them for download for free. And then the rest will go to my store. So lots of games on the go, and I got lots more. Actually, I just started working on another one, which is like a port of Aquaventure, which is an Atari 2600 game that never got released until the flashback systems came out. You can get them. You can play it on the flashback system, but I want to do more than just port it. I want to add something to it. So I started working on it. I got it, most of it going. I just got to create more, add more to it.
Now you can find that. I believe it was a video, but it might have just been a post because I shared it on my Facebook. There was some stuff on that if you guys want to check it out.
I did a very early kind of a video of me playing it. It's not in its complete stage. It's just literally you can see the player going down and shooting the enemies and stuff. It's a very simple game of just going down a canyon, essentially underwater, shooting bad things, and then you're supposed to get to the bottom and get a treasure. I'm going to add in some extra stuff like being able to blow up the walls and go through tunnels, kind of make it more like Pitfall 2 in a sense.
Okay. I definitely look forward to seeing more of that. So, all right. Not to forget Harvey. Same question, sir.
All right. I've got my Amigo cornhole game from last year, and that's all I have for the Intellivision. I spread myself a little thinner, so I've got things for other consoles also. But for that's it for the Intellivision at the moment.
But you did, I know it's not your complete project, but you did release the RTO Flash as well, right? Like you did put together your version of it?
Yep. So those are based on AOTA's designs. So yeah, I've got hardware. I've got the my version of the RTO, and I make a copy of his Pi RTO, which basically a different shell. and then I've got, of course, boards for the Intellivision.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up as well. I'm glad you mentioned that because you do make boards, and that's another version. So, all right. So now let's head back over. We have a video from Llaneros.
I'm working on 2 games that I'm never finishing. Flipper game, pinball game. Sorry, Flipper is French. Pinball game, which is having also horizontal, vertical scroll on 2 pages. That is been in. That I've been working on from at least 2 or 3 years now. I'm still having issues with collision, especially collision with the pedals that are not working well. And another game that I'm working on, which is a remake of Asphalt. Asphalt is a game that was on Amstrad CPC in the 80s, which is you're running a truck and some enemies are trying to destroy your truck and to take your goods, traveling with cars or with motorcycles. Which is a horizontal shooter. This one, I think there are some demos available on AtariAge that you can download, and you can see on YouTube some shooting from it.
All right, so now we have Dr. Ludos, and phase 2 here. Dr. Ludos was very thorough with his answers. Other projects before this one, this is his first Intellivision game, although it's not his first homebrew game. He had a blast and a hard time learning how does an INTV work and creating his first game for the platform, and at the same time, but the Inti Basic documentation is wonderful, alongside with a goldmine of information on AtariAge forums regarding how to use it, and it made a very interesting journey for him. And then Sergio from Maxit said he made X Rally, released by Intellivision Collector in 2023, a version of the arcade classic Rally X. So next up, we have question 6. What's the best part about these type of contests for you as a programmer? Start with Michael.
Well, really, it's just the fun of participation. So I'll just write a game just because I always want to write more games for Intellivision. So to have a contest, this kind of gives me just an incentive, like, hey, okay, you have a definite deadline here, so you want to get a game done by then. So that, of course, will let me know that I don't have forever to make my next game. And then, of course, I see what other people are making, and I just look forward to just seeing all the other wonderful entries.
Yeah, there really were a lot. I mean, I couldn't play Chippy, but everything else I played extensively, and there was not one dud. I enjoyed them all. And believe me, I played a lot, and I showed a lot, and I did the high score contest. Every time Michael, who was very quick to beat me, or Rick, I was up here that next few minutes I could get, and I was playing all the games, I got pretty good at some of them. So, all right. So, Brian, same question. What's the best part about these contests for you as a programmer?
I'm kind of in the same boat. It's a nice, like I said before, it's a nice way to take a break from any other games you might be working on, and it gives you a good challenge because you're not allowed to make the game beyond the minimal capacities of the Intellivision, so you're not allowed to use the tricks to extend the RAM or do any of that funky stuff that you could do to make the really big impressive games. So you gotta keep small. You gotta think what would be a nice simple game that doesn't require a lot of big manual or a lot of learning curve. So yeah, I think it's fun. It's a fun way to just take a break, and it gets people to play more Intellivision. So.
Yes, it definitely did. I was playing more Intellivision games. I'm to be honest, I've played more of all your guys' games from this contest than I probably have any homebrew. I really did. I really went crazy playing them. I could have 5 minutes and play like a whole bunch of the games. So if I had a few minutes, I was coming up here and I was playing them, and I really genuinely did enjoy them all. So I really thank you all for that. So all right, so now we've got Harvey. Same question.
Definitely seeing the engagement of the community, whether on our AtariAge or YouTube channels, was great. It was great to see all the people playing these games. And for me, I know Brian touched on this too, but you're learning something new. I hadn't done a title screen before. I quickly found out the limitations of the Intellivision for that. Also got more into some of the music capabilities, and so yeah, just a good learning experience and a good fun experience.
All right, so now we are going to hear from Jan.
It's just interesting to see how the people are reacting to what you see. It's having such a short time, and I had very short time. I had to commit it in first half of the month because I had to work on something else for the rest of the month. I was not able to iron out all the bugs, and I see it's still too complex. The gameplay is not as good as it could be. I have another version that is available at my site. I don't want to publish it before the end of the contest, but what is interesting is to see how people are reacting and the comments that you receive.
All right, so now I've got one from Sergio. Let me put him up. All right, so Sergio said the few days and limited size for the game stimulates creativity. It took him several years to finish X Rally, but Max It flowed more naturally. So that's what he liked about the contest. And then we go to Dr. Ludos. The best part of such a contest is the community. It's a chance to make a game that other people will play and also give you feedback on. To me, it's the best prize any game developer can get, to have people enjoying a game that you've created. I also love that these contests come with several constraints regarding size, theme, time, etc. These constraints do foster creativity, in my humble opinion, and have people come with unique solutions or ideas. And in the end, it's always very fun to see what other developers have created facing the same constraints as you did. And last but not least, I think such contests are the perfect venue to discover new machines. I mean, learning how a retro game console works is usually quite hard and time-consuming. So it becomes a daunting task to make a huge game for a machine you never worked on. On these contests, you have a limited time, size, and creativity, so it's easier to use it as a learning opportunity. All right, so now we are on to question 7, and this is going to be a nice, quick, easy one. So let me get back here. What is the high score on your own game? Without cheating.
All right. Well, I'll answer. I have no idea. Probably about 250 seconds. 250.
That's a pretty good score because
I'm guessing
that's right there at the top. I mean, I'm one of the top guys.
Maybe 255 then.
That's a really good score. So, okay, this is going to be the quick, easy one. But Michael, same question. What's your high score?
I actually don't even know because I didn't seriously try. I'm looking right now. The closest thing I had to like a serious playthrough for a high score was when I took a screenshot for my front end where I wanted to have like a 5-figure best score, then die and go back and have another score like in the say 5,000 range or something like that, just so I had like a different say bonus, actual score, and best score. But to actually go for high score, I haven't even done that yet. I want to say maybe in the 15,000 range.
That's
and
still
I think I made it to maybe score. What?
That's still a pretty good score.
Yeah, it's not bad by any means. But yeah, so I would have made it to, I'm going to say probably level 7 if that was the case. And I thought that was pretty impressive by itself. again, one thing about Penn State is I made it so you win if you clear 10 levels.
Yes, so there is an ending, and you just go by the score. So, all right. So, Brian, same question.
I don't honestly. I didn't.
How far you've gotten?
I was looking at the level that I got to, and I think level 10 was as high as I could get. I think maybe once I made it to level 11, but most of the time when I was playing it, it was purely testing. It was just making sure the game works, making sure it doesn't crash. Trying to find any little bugs. Like we said, it's we had a limited time, and making the intro, making the last minute, I decided to put music in there, and so I really didn't have time to really play it, other than just make sure it works. And I wasn't recording the score at all. I have no idea.
I can tell you, I don't know how Rick did it. It took a long time, I know that, but he got like 40-something thousand on that game. Like
I was wondering when I was making it, I'm like, am I putting too many digits for the score? Because when I started playing it myself, I'm like, I'm not getting very far, and my score is pretty low. So
yeah, Mike and I've heard other people say, we don't need that many digits because no one's gonna get that high.
I kind of was worried that somebody would get to the point where they're so good, they're just gonna continue playing it, and it'll just, because after a while, it doesn't get any harder.
Yeah,
I thought somebody would just get to the point where they would just like bring
just
it up
to do it
9999999, but I guess not. I guess I made it too hard. I don't know.
All right, so now we'll hear from Jan. Let me see.
I didn't finish it with the previous version. That the gameplay is not so good. So I was about 880 meters, something like this. But I saw people finishing it, so some very, very good players.
All right, so now I have Sergio from Maxit. Let's see here. So he hasn't played it seriously many times. He managed to get a +3 on the computer, which if you played it, it's not easy to win. So the way I was kind of scoring it is winning is hard enough, but then how many points you are ahead of the computer. So I was one of the few people that, I think the only one that showed it online. I played with my son, and it got to the point he was loving that. I'd get home from work and he'd be like, hey, you want to go play Maxit? And we played probably 7-8 games over that few days. He did beat me a few of them. He definitely loves that. So now we've got Dr. Ludos. So his high score was 24 points, but it has been smashed by several more talented players from the AtariAge community. He said, myself included, and not counting the score exploit that was found by Mike of Mike's Gaming Gala. So that will be fixed, and I know I added in, we need some way to know if we're playing the new version, because you can pretty much get an infinite number. Well, you can get 9,999, I believe, and then that's max. So that is a fix he's going to do. I think my high score was in the 60s, to put it into perspective. I was beat just barely by Rick, of course, like always. So let's head back over here. Now we are on question 8. There are 14, if anyone is wondering. Let's see here. All right. So are there any tips or strategies that you have for the viewers on your game?
Well, for Penn State, really, what you want to do is, because you have time before the level starts, take a little time, study the legend, and look at the enemies on the board, and just formulate a strategy. So you can just kind of like, say, hold the up arrow, for example, and just gun it all the way to the top of the chessboard for maximum points. Really, that's the best strategy I can offer. Is just make sure you watch the legend.
All right. So, Brian, same question. Any strategies or tips?
Well, the first strategy is the bonus scores, the bonus letters. Those are going to save your neck most of the time. So try and grab those when you can. The only other strategy I kind of was thinking for like any of the pack line games is you sometimes have to wait for the ghost to come as close as possible to you before you scurry off to the other side of the board, just so you can get to that, the rest of the dots. When a game gets fast, it's really hard to do it. I noticed that, the ghost will kind of catch you really quickly. So you kind of do a lot of that in and out of the board, from one side to the next side to the next side. And you just kind of wait for that ghost to come as close as possible and just, boom, go to the other side. That's about as far as I could really think of for strategy.
Yeah, and once you get to that hard place in the game, you pretty much are going back and forth because you cannot get to the middle pellets once it's hard. You have to get the letters and get that S,
You need the bonus,
and then grab the middle pellets and then keep going. That's the trick that I've learned. So, all right, Harvey, same thing.
All right, I always keep my finger, I guess, on the accelerator, and missing a tag will cost you a fair bit, a little bit of time anyway. So try not to miss the tags. It's better to hit an obstacle than to miss a tag.
Yeah, I did that. I had a really good score missing a tag, but it was in a later level, I believe. And I was going so fast, I just quickly got to the next tag. Even Mike says, I don't know how you got that score with missing a tag. I'm like, yeah, I was moving. Yeah, it's better. It's usually better to hit obstacles.
Usually. Yep.
Definitely. So, all right, I got everybody right. All right, so now we've got Jan. He said too many things clicking around here.
I didn't finish it with the previous version. That is the gameplay is not so good. So I was about 880 meters.
Oop, that's when we did. Wrong one. Sorry, guys.
For the moment, there is a small bug. The missile that is aiming at you doesn't aim really exactly at you, and it's always firing a bit offset of your position. So if you see the missile firing, just don't move. It will not hit you.
Easier said than done. He has since fixed that bug and released it, and it is quite a bit harder. So now I've got Sheep It Up, Dr. Ludos, and tips. As you may have noticed, the sheep can move left or right, but only while in the air. While this is useful for many players, I've noticed several people were able to make very high scores by pressing on the jump button only. I played like that for a long time before I realized I can move a little bit. But when those things are going super fast, it's not really going to help. They're going to get you or you're going to miss it. I didn't find it useful unless it was on the slower moving objects. Also, to make high scores, it is crucial to make double jumps as often as possible. When you jump from one Velcro to the second one above it, skipping one Velcro in the process, you earn 3 points instead of 1. It does add up quickly and is key to achieving a high score. So without the point hack that Mike's Gaming Gala found, that's what I do. I skip one every time I can to get that extra bonus point, and it really does. It does work. So next we've got Sergio of Maxit, and he says the best strategy is not always to capture the largest number, but rather to place the opponent in a row or column with bad numbers. Thinking about the rounds ahead can also earn you points. So yeah, so if you pick a 8 and then they have a 15 in their column, you're going backwards. Whereas if you might take a 5 and then on that one they've got all negative numbers, so you're gaining more points. There's a lot of strategy to that game, and it's very hard to beat the computer. So I look forward to playing a final version of that one for sure. Back here. All right, so now we've got number 9. What games from the contest have you played besides your own, Michael?
Well, I played them all, but the one I played most extensively was Chippy, because as soon as the contest was over, I realized that, one, a lot of people were going to have a hard time playing it, and two, that it was relatively easy to play it in my environment, plus with my front end, even outside of my environment. So I made a point to play Chippy a couple of times on my Twitch live stream, just for the people that didn't have a chance to try it out themselves. and I know a couple other people on their YouTube channels actually played recaps to my Twitch channel just so they could show Chippy in action. But yeah, I did play them all for sure. I did beat Canyon Escape. I beat the Blob. I remember that. I didn't do very well at Sheep It Up, but that was a fun game too. Pinty, what I did actually was I turned off speed throttling and just set it to 4,000 digits and just let it run all night. So I got up in the morning and I had all 4,000 digits generated, and then I took a screenshot.
Whew. How long did that take approximately, you think?
Probably about an hour with speed throttling turned off. Now, Deckel says it takes 80 hours.
Yes.
Normally.
Normal play, yeah.
Yeah.
I was curious how long it took for you, the way you were doing it.
Yeah. Well, again, I did that before I went to bed and just let it go all night, but
Yeah.
I'd estimate about an hour.
All right. So Brian's Man Cave. Same question. What other games from the contest were you able to try any?
No. I've been very busy lately between work and, the whole thing, family, coding, and doing the YouTube videos. And I actually haven't been playing any games recently. And other than the ones I've done for videos, I really haven't carved out the time for it. When I do have time, I'm on the computer coding. So I just didn't have the time to start downloading them and playing them and learning them. And but I did watch the videos on them. I did watch Mike's Gaming Gala play them. I've watched I think I watched your video. So I did watch everybody playing the games. I just didn't have a chance to go and play it myself, including
I totally understand on the time thing, because for me to even do the little bit of stuff I do for YouTube, which is usually just a show, I'm losing a lot of sleep all the time. I have a very busy life, a young family. I work overtime to buy all this crap behind me. I run high level racing for RC tracks all over, California, and it's like very little time. So I understand. And I knew whenever you said that you didn't have a high score for your own game, really, that it was probably be the case. So yeah, definitely when you get a chance, there's some good ones in there. So Harvey,
it's just I finish a game and then I move on to the next one. So
yeah, I do the same thing. Like on the Homebrew Highlights, like, man, I'm going to go live, and like my plan is to play the game that I highlight at least once in that week. I can record it. I can go live and just play and chat, and I have yet to do it. So that gives you any indication of I'm struggling for that extra time as well. So Harvey, same question. Have you tried any of the other games?
Yeah, I've played them all except for Chippy.
Yeah, same here. That one's hard to play.
Yeah, I really like the puzzle games. Maxit is very tough, but I probably enjoyed the Blob. I'd love to have that on my phone. It'd be a great mobile game just to, spend a few minutes on and give it a play. I would really love to see some fixed levels on that, so that so you can compare your score from yesterday and see if you can get any better.
One suggestion I had on that one for the Blob, I would like to see a timer, because if somebody got 19 and it took them 5 minutes, and somebody got 18 and it took them 3 hours, they're sitting there calculating the whole time. To me, it's more impressive when, if you're tied, you need a tiebreaker anyway. That was the one thing for that game.
Yeah, I mean, I would think the opposite, but maybe options are good.
You don't like the timer?
I
don't mean a timer like if you run out, you're over.
Timer. Yeah,
I don't mean like a timer that okay, that timer ran out, you're done. I mean how long your game took you to complete it. Yeah, that's what I'm.
In my mind, it's secondary, but I could see having both modes available. That would be great, actually.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt anything. So, all right. So now I've got Jan. Put myself back over here.
I played most of them. I liked Cheesy, that is very good. Cartag, I liked also. It doesn't have a high score today, but I liked it. And I like all the more mental games, reflection games. Pensate is very good. I like the concept of it.
All right, so now we've got Sergio Maxit. He's played Kenyan Escape, Card Tag, Miss Paku Paku, and of Sheep It Up. And then we have Dr. Ludos. And he has played all the games from the contest. He was able to try them all. All right, so now we are up to question 10. There's 14 again. We're getting there. Excluding your own game, which other game in the contest is your favorite?
Definitely Chippy. I liked that a lot because it was a real interesting from a technical standpoint. So that's an easy one for me.
Now, can you, for those of us like myself that don't really understand, can you quickly or briefly give us a description of how impressive that is, what he did? Yep.
Well, again, it's an emulator running on the Intellivision. Now, Deckel has done a couple other emulators before. He wrote something called Studio Vision, which is an emulator for the RCA Studio 2 running on Intellivision. And then he also did something called Little Bro 2, which was for something called the Unisonic Champion. But yeah, this one, of course, is very impressive because you can actually load games off of tapes, virtual Aquarius tapes.
All right. Thank you so much. Yeah, because I know it's impressive, but what he did, but I really don't understand it other than it's an emulator. I know it was an amazing thing. And like you've seen, I am working on getting it to run on Will hardware with your help. Just need a few more pieces of the puzzle and a little bit of time.
That'll be cool.
Yeah, I can't wait to check that out. So, Brian, same question. You haven't played him, but from what you've seen, what was your favorite one that you saw?
I kind of like that Canyon one with the scrolling.
Canyon
that one looked kind of neat. That's something I would probably want to play. Just the way it was the board. It kind of had that bump and jump, Spy Hunter feel to it. I just thought that was kind of cool, and the way it was shooting, and it's kind of similar to the Grand Prix game I made, but the Grand Prix game I made goes horizontal. So it kind of reminded me of that. And I thought that's kind of cool. And I didn't use scrolling for my game. So I considered it, but I wanted to make mine more like the Atari's version. So I kept it like the old way of doing it. But yeah, I just thought that looked really cool.
All right. Harvey, same question.
I had several favorites, but really I just picked the Blob. I just enjoyed playing that the most.
Yep, that was my son's favorite game of the contest. Blob was number 1, and Maxit was number 2 for him. He's 11. He liked them all. We played them all, but those were his 2 favorites. All right, so now we're going to hear from Jan.
I think would be Pensate.
What the heck did I just do? What do you say?
I think would be Pensate.
I think I might have messed that one up. All right, so we'll move on to and this one is Dr. Ludos. I did a whole bunch of editing. It was one long video, and apparently I did something on that one. His favorite game was the Blob. It's the one he voted for. At first, my preference went towards Canyon Escape as... Where'd it go here? Fast-paced, fun to play, offers gorgeous visuals, and has a wonderful title screen. But I actually found myself replaying the Blob more. There's some kind of perfect balance in this game. It's challenging and makes you think and try to plan your moves in advance, but it's also a game that an average player like me can win with several tries. And the core concept is great and fits perfectly within the Intellivision controller. I'd also like to mention Chippy, as it's arguably the most technically impressive entry by far. I never thought it would be possible to write an emulator running on the Intellivision, so my hat's off to Deckel for making it a reality. And I'd also like to thank and congratulate all the other participants, as in the end, I had fun playing all the games.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've got Sergio from Maxit. Sheep It Up and Miss Paku Paku were his. All right, so question 11. What changes or updates do you plan to make to your games after the contest is over? Let me see here. It's on you, so go ahead.
All right. I'm gonna improve the music, change it up, make it a little bit longer, also because I ran out of space there. This is actually going to be part of a larger game, similar to something like Tron Arcade, where there's several different mini games going on.
I like the sound of that.
That's the plan, anyway.
All right, Michael Hayes, same question. What changes or updates, if any, do you plan to make after the contest?
Well, the one bit of feedback I got so far was the leftmost column where you've got the actual various pieces in the legend. Somebody said instead of having it be black, I should make it be the same color as the tiles on the chessboard. So I'll go with the light tiles. So that's one thing I'm going to do. Another thing is I noticed just a little bit of a graphical bug. While the enemy pieces are moving, it displays the wrong graphic, but it's so brief that you might not have noticed. But that's easy to fix. The other thing,
I didn't notice.
Yeah, I caught it, and I was just like, "Ooh." Anyhow, and then the other thing was with the because I still have about 1K of ROM space left. I wanted to write like a really nice, long, pretty tune for the end game.
So that person that talked about the color, was that Intellivision dude?
Yeah.
Yeah, he talked to me about that too, because, I mean, not just playing him and not just here, but we had a lot of discussions, via text back and forth with several people playing the games, and I just had a feeling that was him, because that's the one thing he told me. I'm pretty sure that was his favorite game, was your Pinsate.
Yeah.
All right, so who'd I miss here? Brian, same question. Any updates you plan after the contest for your game?
I just want to say I like how Michael looks like Dr. Evil right now, petting his cat.
I was thinking that.
$1 million.
Well, for Paku Paku or Miss Paku Paku, I don't know if I'll do much. I actually was originally wanting to put the fruit in there, like have the fruit kind of moving as some kind of bonus thing. And then while I was thinking of that, that's when I came up with the bonus idea. The other thing I might do would be, now that I know how hard the game is, to maybe have some skill levels. Maybe
that would be good.
hard. Yeah. So then you could go easy and then it won't go so fast, and you could actually get some points. So maybe that's probably about it.
All right. So now we're gonna hopefully hear from Jan. Hopefully I only messed up the one.
Mainly polishing the gameplay that's already done, so that you do not die 2-3 times in a row with a missile not being reinitialized correctly. Giving a bit more intelligence to the missile so that it doesn't aim at you, that it does better aim at you, and changes directions and give when you started a game. That's mainly it, I think, for this game.
Yeah, that's one thing that was quite frustrating. Like, you would die playing Canyon Escape, and you couldn't even get out of the way, and it'd be like, boom, boom. Sometimes like 3 deaths right in a row, and it's like, oh. I was able to complete it multiple times, but that did happen to me and other people as well. Sergio. So he says, where'd he go? He intends to make an improved version of Maxit with difficulty levels, which everyone wanted because that game is hard. And a new game modes. He's also developing his own game. So next, Dr. Ludos, Sheep It Up. Most needed is change to fix the exploit found by the talented gamer Mike's Gaming Gallet. I think they said that wrong. Did he mean Mike? Yes, Mike's very talented. I'm just kidding, Mike. Basically allows you to reach infinite score without dying while staying on the first screen. So basically, if anyone didn't know, I wish I could pop Mike on here because this did come from him. So if you, on the first level, if you went up and then went back down, went up again, went back down, went up again, you could keep going and going and going. And your score could just keep going up because you don't die on the first screen. It's only second screen on that you die if you fall. So that definitely was being fixed. So also do some technical improvement as there are some graphics glitches on the clouds when the game scrolls sometimes. This is due to me not using a screen border like in other games to have a taller play area. But several players have rightfully reported that this glitch is annoying. So I'll try my best to fix it while retaining a tall play area. And if I can't, I'll enable the top screen border like all the other games, so no one will be distracted by the clouds glitch. I would also like to add some extra polish to the game, maybe some extra sound effects or several game modes or variants. I'll have to think about it, but yes, I do plan to keep working on the game. All right, so I don't think I played. Yes, I did. I played Jan's. All right, question 12. What are your plans for the game? I know some of you guys have already answered this, but what are the plans for the game after the contest and after you're finished with it? So if you have answered it, just briefly do it. I know some of you have, so let's go. Whoever pops in first. Oh, not me. Michael.
Right. Yep. Well, I already posted the ROM on my website, so anybody can just go and get it there. I also bundled it. See, just today, I posted the chronological tour edition of my front end. So I have my game bundled with it. So another way it's distributed.
Nice. All right, Brian.
Well,
You've already told us,
earlier,
I know.
yeah, I talked earlier about Intellivision Revolution wants to do a Pac-Man compilation. So hopefully it ends up there. And like I said, I also have it available as a download on my website.
Yeah, as a Pac-Man lover, maze game lover, I'm really looking forward to that game. I can't wait till it comes out.
I actually started toying with the idea of doing a lock and chase version too.
Yeah, you posted that, or did you? Oh wait, did you post it, or did you tell me?
It was an idea that just hit me. Somebody suggested Mousetrap, which I saw on the Zero Page Homebrews YouTube channel. They showed a Mousetrap version of the single line for the Atari, and I thought that may be cool. But then I thought Lock and Chase would be cool too, and you'd have the cops, and then you could go through the doors, and then have the traps, or the doors closed or whatever. I just thought that would be kind of neat.
Yeah, I didn't play it or see it, I did see a screenshot, and that was the themed versions. Excuse me, same game, but the themed versions. I thought that was a really cool idea.
Yeah.
All right, so Harvey, same question.
Yeah, same part of a bigger game. Likely changing the theme, at least to some degree. It's not just going to be basically different graphics.
Okay. Rick was asking, this was not pertaining to you, but the Blob bonus game, how did you get to it? And Michael said, press 0 when you win. And I can't remember if I've won a few times, but I don't remember if I pushed 0. I think all the time I was recording and worrying about screenshots and updating the challenge post. Trying to beat Mike and Rick, not easy. I gave up. So, all right. So now we're going to hear from Jan. And that's this is a little bit interesting. We're going to learn about something he's got going on.
About this is maybe to put this game as a special stage in my other game, Asphalt. So to have the one that I taught you is a horizontal shooter, to have an intermediate game or intermediate level where you have this vertical shooter inside.
So he's working on a game called Asphalt, and his game Canyon Escape is a bonus area. I thought that was interesting. It's like I really want to see Asphalt now. So Sergio, He says, hasn't thought about it yet for now. He's having a lot of fun improving the game. And then Dr. Ludo, sheep it up. There's no comment for that one to him. He somehow, I think he combined them, but I don't think he quite understood what I meant by afterwards, like going on a cart or, part of another game. I think he answered the same one as last time on that one. So 13, this is kind of interesting because, I have all 3 versions of this, the Inti Basic. It wasn't really a contest. I originally thought it was. What is your opinion? And we'll do the same order here, about like all the games in the contest ending up on some kind of compilation like this, where you can choose them, and it'll say like the 2024 Inti Basic Tiny Contest. What are your guys' opinions on something like that? And is it even possible? So go ahead, it's on you first.
Yeah, I'd be up for that.
Yeah. So like, what would you think about like having one cart, full CIB, and being able, much like we saw, you could scroll around back through the games. With this mini, you might want to just have them on there and being able to scroll and pick through the games. So that's definitely.
Yeah, I mean that sounds like a good idea. I mean, I'm a sort of mixed. I mean, like I said, I've got other plans for this, but at the same time, I'd be fine with that.
Okay, Michael Hayes.
Mm-hmm. I'm actually had already said on another chat that's probably what's going to end up happening is just put everything onto one cartridge and then just release, especially because the theme was tiny. Everything's only 8K. So yeah, that's definitely doable. I'm just curious what's going to happen with Chippy, because I don't know if it's going to be the same thing or if Deckel's just going to have like, 8 or 9 versions of Chippy with, one of the games preloaded on it. But yeah, I'm definitely up for the idea. I'd love to see it.
Yeah, I'd love to see it as well. Now, I know there's plans for Miss Paku Paku, and there's other people, but is that even something possible with Miss Paku Paku, since it has other plans for a game? And what do you think of the idea of all the contest games being on one?
Well, yeah, definitely. I guess it depends on Rev's stance on it, but actually, I almost wasn't going to include it in the contest because I wasn't sure if Rev would like the idea of it being already given out for free if he's planning on putting it on a cartridge. So I kind of debated on it, and I kind of mentioned it in the forum. I'm like, I'm thinking of putting this in the contest, and he didn't seem to have a problem with it. So, I think as is, sure. I would like to have a few more improvements to the game. So I don't know if it would just be as it was during the contest, or everybody let's give a chance to improve the game a bit, fix some bugs, maybe fix some music or whatever, and add that version. I don't know. I guess it's up to.
But yeah, whoever is doing it. I like the idea of this was a contest, a time thing. I like the idea of letting you guys do the final little tweaks and then getting all those on the cart. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be both sides of the fence on that one, but I like the idea of letting you guys do the final little version and tweaks before and then going on the cart. But so who do we miss here? We started with Harvey, so we got everyone on this one, right? So let's see here. Now we're going to go see Jan.
Very nice to see my game published somewhere. Usually it's just they do this for fun, publish this as open source, and I would really like to publish the source afterwards also.
So then we've got Sergio from Maxit, and he said, I think it's a good idea. All participants are good games. And then we've got Dr. Ludos. That would be wonderful. I guess the fact that they are tiny per the contest rules would make it possible maybe for all these games to appear on a single cart. So now we're up to the final question. So not just about your game, but what is up and for you guys after this contest? What are you wanting to work on? What are you working on? If there's anything you can talk about, of course. We'll start with whoever it pops up.
Well, I already talked about there is a game I'm working on. I'm kind of excited about it. It is a game I played on the Commodore 64, and so I'm fairly happy with what I have right now. I do have the first screen, and I have my enemies, working and stuff. So I'm kind of excited about that one. The other games are just well, I'm working on one for for John Hancock, the YouTuber, the immortal John Hancock, which he's going to be debuting at Portland Retro Game, and yeah, I think I'm just gonna. My goal is to actually create an original game. That's what I really want to do. I want to actually create something from the ground up. That's my own idea, my own characters, my own story, because I want to start working on making games for the ColecoVision as well, and that would be something that I could do. Create the Intellivision version and then put it on Coleco as well. So
that would be nice. You have your new book.
Yeah, I got the book from Oscar, and I'm excited to start learning. I'm happy that the Coleco Basic is similar to the Inti Basic, so I'm pretty confident I'll be able to pick it up.
Sweet. All right. So Harvey.
Yeah. So my next Intellivision game it's in progress. But one of those things, there's a lot of work to completing it all. All the basic games are there, but I got to throw it all together and make sure the theme is there. Title screens, music, that whole thing needs to be added, sound effects. Beyond that, I'm doing a lot of other things, so I'm kind of spread myself thin. The Intellivision's kind of just working on that on my laptop in the living room. But if I'm doing heavy duty work in the basement here, then I'm doing my hardware projects. The one thing I want to get done this year is my Microvision homebrew Barrage 2024. So that's big on the list. Really finishing up. I gotta finish up the shell for that, and then it's ready to go.
Sweet. Now, before we move on to Michael, Mike says, I've got to get Oscar's Coleco book, so I have another thing I'll never be able to program for. And that's what I do. I mean, I'm a collector. I collect everything, but books, I have hundreds of game books, especially if it's for Intellivision, Coleco, Atari, something like that. I'm just supporting them, selling, another purchase. But I have zero talent when it comes to programming. I don't even attempt it. But I do enjoy looking at it. It's like looking at a foreign language you don't understand. But yeah, I have to buy that book as well, Mike.
Yep. So definitely we all owe a big debt of gratitude to Oscar for not just for this minigame competition, but for most of the Intellivision games of late.
Yeah, and you can follow, once you saw IntyBASIC come out, the number of games just grew because everyone that couldn't do it before, they were able to quickly learn it and put games out.
Yep.
So definitely. All right, Michael, same question.
Yep. So I've got pages and pages of game ideas. Because I'm every bit as much a designer as a developer, ideas is my raw material. The only problem is then I look at my list and I just get intimidated, like, what am I going to work on next? I don't even know. So one thing I started to work on in 2009 and then keep trying to come back to it is I want to make another 4-player party game. Obviously something, it's not going to be FUBAR, it's going to be something different, but I wanted to have like a bunch of 4-player party games. I thought that would have been a good idea to have because Intellivision really never had any. So that, and then I had a few other off-the-wall ideas. Like I had one idea to take like the NES ROB accessory and make a game that utilized NES ROB, things like that. But again, it's just a question of just going through my list and just pick one and go with it.
Yeah, I like the idea of the party games.
Mhm.
That's not easy for everyone to do, but you could do it in emulation for sure, right? A lot easier.
Well, yeah.
Would you
If you
need
had
an
four,
ECS, right?
well, yeah. Well, to have more than 2 players, yeah, you're going to want an ECS to have the extra 2 controller ports, and then you plug the Intellivision 2 controllers into it. But yeah, unless somebody has really created something where we could just play multiplayer like online.
Oh, that's what needs to happen.
Yeah, because as it is right now, I think if you're going to have like a 4-player FUBAR session, it's going to be couch co-op, which is fine. But we just got to get everybody into one space. That's the big thing right now.
Oh, if somebody could put out where we could play games, especially like hacked versions of original games, homebrew games, and we could play against each other, there would be leagues all over the place. People will be playing so much Intellivision. I that's probably my biggest wish for anything. That's actually, for the Amico, I was hoping, to have leaderboards at the least and to eventually play the games against other people. That's really what I wanted the most.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I don't even know if that's possible. A multi-tap for the Intellivision without an ECS?
Should be.
Should be?
Yeah, that shouldn't be too hard.
All right, so let's go. Did I miss anyone on the last one? I got everyone, right? Okay, so now we're going to hear from Jan.
Oh. I don't know. It's going back to programming, doing some hardware, tinkering on the different old retro computers. Right now, I was working on Commodore 64, installing some dual seed inside. So that's just, I'm taking this for fun.
All right, so then we have Sergio from Maxit. Let's get over here. And he said, I intend to resume the development of an original game that has been stopped for a few months. I'm also improving IntelliTool, a support tool for creating games that integrates the main software available, Inti Basic, Inti Color, INTV, among others. The current version is available for download on my website in 6 languages. Have any of you know anything about that?
I heard of it, yeah.
That sounds interesting, putting everything kind of together.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, I already have my portable Intellivision development environment, so I personally don't have a need for it. But it does, again, if it makes development accessible to more people, I say that's great.
All right, let's see. So now we've got Dr. Ludos. In the immediate future, I'll keep working on Sheep It Up. The goals of releasing an updated version, hopefully in a few weeks or months. I must confess that I really enjoyed working on the Intellivision, so I hope to be able to make more games for this machine in the future as well. So that's very cool that he's interested in making more games for the Intellivision. I definitely like the sound of that. Let's check over to comments here. What about Warlords for the Intellivision, says Rick. And I forgot, welcome DJC, welcome sir. That's definitely a great 4-player game, but I don't know, Warlords, I don't know about you guys, but I like to have a spinner, I don't like to play that with a D-pad or disc. I like to have the different control for that. Poe says, a multi-tap and Intellivision Gauntlet. Mike has several game ideas. I need to team up with a programmer. You need to learn how to program, Mike. That would be good. All right. So are there anything else you guys want to add or talk about or final thoughts? Like, wasn't sure if there was anything that I failed to bring up, or there's one thing I was, like Mike said earlier, I was going to show the high scores really quick. Let me see. I can bring that up really quick here because I was updating this thing like all the time. Oh boy. Give me 1 second here, guys. Mike, where is that thing? I haven't updated in a while, but every time someone would score, I would go edit it. Give me one quick second here. I should have had this one ready. Mike's right. I totally dropped the ball on that because I had it in the show notes for myself. This group's so big, things just keep. Jeez, we're almost there. Give me a quick second here, guys. I wanted to show all the high scores for all your guys' games. Hey, I just saw the post for Aqua Adventures. All right, here it is. So I will bring it up here. Some of these are quite impressive. Make sure that's right here. Add to the stage. All right, so these were the high scores from who's turned it in. So the Blob by Peripheral, Mike's Gaming Gala, 18 turns. That is just a phenomenal score. Intellivision Dude, 20. Rick was in there. Retro Bliss. I was able to beat it a few times. Every single time I beat it was 24. But I did beat it. Canyon Escape by Yanaros. I was the leader for a while, and then Rick got me right in the end. 3 of us were able to complete the game, and it depends. The points are how many lives and how much fuel you have left. There's some kind of formula for the score. A lot of people completed, the game and competed in this one. Cart tag, look at here, Harvey, 252.4. I told Mike I was going to beat him, and I just haven't had time. But Mike had 252, I had 254, and Rick had 259. It's quite a big of a jump from there. Us 3 were really going at a lot of these games. This is one where I just got lucky one game. Max It by Sergio. I beat the computer by 55 points. Only one time I was able to do it. I got +7 was my best on the other one. Intellivision Dude was a leader for a while with +11. It was hard just to beat the computer, let alone have a good score. I just got lucky with the random numbers. Here's a crazy score. Miss Paku Paku, 45,920 by Rick Weidman. And second place was me with, or I don't know if Mike, did you beat me on that? 38-18. That's crazy. Rick must have been up for hours playing that. Pinsate by Michael Hayes. 20,135 by Mike's Gaming Gala. Intellivision Dude had 18,000, 10,003, and I had 10,100. I definitely want to go back to that game. I want to try to beat all the levels. I think it was all 10. And then cheap it up. This one gets hard. So Rick edged me out 66, and it's very hard to do. I had 63, Intellivision Dude had 42. You can see a lot of participants. I mean, people really did enjoy playing all your guys' games. Some make for better high score or low time contests than others. But, man, some of those scores, I know it took them a while, and I know it took a lot of skill and a lot of luck. But, one thing I just want to say thank you for 2 reasons to all of you guys and the guys that are watching that sent me videos and texts. I really appreciate all the games. I've thoroughly enjoyed every single one of them, and I look forward to whatever becomes of them and seeing them in collections or released on their own finished. And I also want to thank you guys for spending the time. I think every one of you have been on, and some of you many times, coming on the show and sharing information, and I really do appreciate it. And I would like to close it out unless you guys have anything you would like to say.
Nope, good.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on, and I look forward to having you each on in the future. And thanks, chat, as well. You guys were very interactive tonight. Had a lot of people watching this one. I think it was an interesting topic. Anytime you have several people come on and talk about their games and answer questions, I know it's be something that I would like to watch. So that's what I try to go for. So, all right, guys. Well, I thank you very much. And thank you guys for watching. And next week, we will have episode 19 of the Intellivision show, where we're going to bring the news, a few things, and we're going to do some gameplay next week. I'm going to be gone at the houseboat all weekend. Definitely not a regular show, but we'll do all the normal stuff, and we'll do horse racing live or some other gameplay. Haven't quite decided yet. So thank you guys. Good night, and we'll see you hopefully next week.